Hello, we are going to cover scheduling a meeting and your personal meeting room. The first step is to go to your Chrome browser and go to zoom.us, and then on the far right click sign in. Scroll down and choose to sign in with Google with your work account, and then we're actually right where we want to be. Today we're going to talk about meetings, and we're going to schedule a new meeting, and then we're also going to talk about the personal meeting room. So the first step is to click on schedule a new meeting. This could be a class that you're meeting regularly with, or office hours, or whatever you needed it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is my second grade office hours. And then you could put in a description if you wanted to. And then for the date, I guess we're going to change it to AM. And we're going to do it, say, a little later than 6 a.m. Let's go ahead and choose 10. And the duration will be an hour. And then make sure that it's in your central time right here. If it's not, you can click the down arrow and change it to central time. And then if you want this to be a recurring meeting, this is something that's happening daily or every couple days or weekly or whatever you wanted. So we're going to go ahead and choose recurring meeting. And then by default, it has 7 occurrences. We could change that. So first off, let's look. We're going to repeat this. Weekly recurrence. And we're going to repeat it once a week, and then, or once every week. And then I'm going to choose, let's see here. The first step is to open up your browser, Chrome preferably, and go to zoom.us, and then go to the far right of your screen and click sign in. Sign in with Google. And then we're already where we want to be. We're going to look at meetings and scheduling a new meeting, and then we're going to talk about personal meeting room. So click on the schedule a new meeting button. And this is where you can put the title of the meeting. So you could say this is your 6th period math class, or your office hours, or whatever else you wanted. And then we could put in a description of it. We could put what time you're going to have this meeting. And 6 a.m. is a little early, so we're going to go ahead and push that to 9:30. And then the duration, we can leave that as an hour, but we now, as educators, can do longer if we wanted to. You can also do it in 15-minute increments. Make sure you're on Central Time. And if this is something that's happening multiple times within a week or through multiple weeks at the same time, we're going to go ahead and click recurring meeting. And then we're going to say this is happening weekly. And then you can choose which days you want it to meet. So I'm going to choose Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm going to uncheck Saturday. And then you can choose the end date or after so many occurrences. I'm going to go ahead and check the calendar here, and then click and say the end of June. And then we have a meeting password here, and that will actually be within the link when you give the link to them. But if they don't have the link, they would need the password also. By default, I'm going to choose to go ahead and leave the host and participant off as far as the video. For the audio, I suggest you choose both. I am also going to not allow them to join before the host. And then I am going to mute the participants upon entry. And then the waiting room, I'm going to leave this checked. If you watched the video we had over settings, the waiting room allows you to let people into the meeting. So we're going to leave that checked. You can uncheck that if you wanted to, and then they just would have to join as your after you've started the meeting. But I suggest you leave that checked so that you can let the students in. And if there's any names that you do not recognize, then you can choose not to let them into your meeting. And that's a great way to eliminate any type of trolling activities. And then I'm going to record the meeting automatically on the local computer checked. And then I'm going to press save. Now, once I've done that, you're going to see all the settings that you set there for your meeting. And if there's something that you did not want, you could go back and you could edit this meeting. You also notice on the bottom right and on the top right, you can start this meeting if you wanted to. So I'm going to go back and click on My Meetings, this little link right here on the top left of my page. And now you're going to see all the upcoming meetings for 6th period math. You'll notice that the only one that allows me to start it is the next one, which will be this Monday. And this is where I could come to start that meeting. You also know the meeting ID is right there. And one thing that I did not show you, which I want to go back, I'm going to go click on this right here. I'm going to click on the 6th period math. And then down here, you'll see there's the link, but I can also choose copy the invitation. So I'm going to do that. And then you can leave all these dates on here if you want, or you can take them off. So that's really your choice. I'm actually just going to go down here, and rather than copy everything, I'm going to go ahead and just copy the link, the meeting ID, and the password. Now, we strongly suggest that you do not put these out on social media, on your website, or anywhere front facing. And the only place that you would share these would be in a direct email to your students' parents, your students, and also posting it within your Google Classroom. So I'm going to right click on that and copy it, and that's what I would take out to give to my students. So scrolling back up, I'm going to go back to the main My Meeting part, and then here are all the meetings we just scheduled. Now, if you have, obviously, if I'm a secondary teacher, I would have more than just 6th period math. You could go in here and do the same thing for all the other classes that you have that you want to be able to have a separate meeting for. Now, the personal meeting room, which I alluded to earlier, is right here. And if you click on this, the thing about this is that it has the same URL that every time, just like those recurring meetings. And this is your personal meeting room. So you could choose to use this for office hours if you wanted, or you could use this for your class. The only thing is if you have multiple periods and you know, over 100 students coming in, you probably would not want to use personal meeting room. That way, not all your classes would have the same link. But within the personal meeting room, if you scroll down, you'll see the settings here. And these settings, you can edit by clicking edit this meeting. And we're going to go ahead and stick with what we had before, with leaving the video off, choosing the audio, both choices, telephone and computer audio. I'm going to continue to emphasize not enabling joining before the host and muting participants upon entry, and then checking for enabling the waiting room, having that checked. That way you can allow your students to enter the room, and only the ones that you want to enter, that being the students' names that you want to enter. So if you notice there's a name that you don't recognize, you can leave that one outside the meeting. Towards that end, it's probably a good idea to let your students know the expectations that they are going to be naming themselves with names that you're going to be able to recognize or something like that, so that you can have some type of procedure so that you don't have any type of issues with the trolling. So once you're done changing those settings, you would need to press save, and then you are ready to go. To give this out, you would do the same thing. You could come over here and say copy the invitation. Here it is again. You'll notice it doesn't have all those dates in it because it's not a recurring meeting. And then you could just copy it by highlighting it and right-clicking, or just choosing to copy the meeting invitation. All right, well, thank you for watching this short video on scheduling a meeting and your personal meeting room. I hope you got something out of it, and you have yourselves a great day.